Hello, everybody. First, I just want to start with how grateful I am to be back, how grateful I am to this organization, how grateful I am to the Johnson family for thinking so highly of me to bring me back. I know what it means to be a part of the Jets family. I know what it means to wear these colors, to wear this brand, and it means a lot coming back. Before I speak to New York, I really have to just send my honor to New Orleans. That is such a great city, very resilient, so much pride, so much love. That city really opened its arms up to me and my family. That's such a vibrant community and great organization. I believe Mrs. Benson is one of the greatest owners in sports, and it truly was an honor for us to play there. At the same time, we feel like we are able to come here with so much peace because our mission there is complete. In terms of leadership in that locker room, what my purpose was in being there was to help navigate and keep the locker room steady through the high times and the low times. As that team left out of one era with Hall of Fame coach and Hall of Fame quarterback, I got a chance to help lead a locker room that had to navigate some adverse times, and now seeing that ship is turning in the right direction, I'm super excited for that organization, but at the same time, it was time for us to step off the ship. But not only were we there for football, we were there for so much more. The work that we were able to do in that community was greater than anything that we could have imagined. And because of partners like the 18th Ward and Oshner, that work will continue and is sustainable for many generations. Why we came back to New York was a multitude of reasons. Number one, we go where we feel like we're being sent to. Number two, I believe in so much of what's being built here under the leadership of Aaron Glenn, a.k.a. AG. And for myself as a leader, this was the mission that I was excited to step into. I never realized that, leaving here, I felt like the mission personally was a little incomplete, but getting a chance to step back into and be a part of what's being built, I'm super excited about that. I think there's a ton of great things on the horizons for this organization. You can already see glimpses of what's being built as the moves that have happened early in the offseason, with so much more on the horizon. So I'm really excited to be a part of that. And this is my third time around, but as I come back this time, I come back very different. I come back very purposeful, very clear on vision, and very clear about who I am. And this wasn't a happenstance situation. This was a choice, very specific. Knowing who I am and who I'm called to be, I know exactly what I'm stepping into this time around. I know who I am, and I know what I bring to a locker room. I take a lot of pride in playing the game at an elite level. And every year I step on the field, I'm trying to be better than the prior year. I take a lot of pride and passion in helping elevate a defense. Playing amongst and inside of the top defenses in the league is something that I take a lot of pride in being a part of. So helping our defense get to that place is a mission of mine. I'm very intentional about helping young players take the next step inside of their career, whether that's on the field or off the field, whatever is necessary to maximize this season of life, I take a lot of pride in. And I also take a lot of pride in helping the organization as a whole grow. We have one of the fastest growing games in the world. If you look at what's happening in terms of our sport and how it's growing internationally and how it's reaching so many more communities, getting a chance to participate in helping the organization elevate is something that I take a lot of pride in. I speak to the fans. I know what this city's expectations is, and I know what the city desires, and I don't come in with any false hope or false promises. I'm only letting you know that I'm committed to the work, that I'm here to serve, that I'm here to give every part of me to help be a part of what's being built and to lead in a way that everyone that's watching will be proud of. And I would just say, man, it's great to be back and be a New York Jet. And everyone should be fired up for what's ahead. Let's get going. Let's get to work.
Hey, Demario, welcome back, man. You mentioned, that it's the third time. I think you might be the first player who's had a third stint with the Jets. Just today, has it been surreal for you just seeing a lot of, some familiar faces and some faces that you know from other places now here in New York or New Jersey?
Yeah, it is. It's very surreal seeing familiar faces like yourself. Man, it really feels like coming back home. Though 8 years being away, being in New Orleans, and they had open arms, and we met a lot of relationships there that are here now. There are a lot of New Orleans synergies inside the building as well. It just feels like the right thing, and I just all throughout the day it just feels right. And my faith is always on display, so I feel like God is always going before you. But when you're able to see the light in front of you, it's incredible, and it's very much a homecoming feeling, and that's very rewarding.
Demario, long time no see. What was the recruiting process like? I mean, did AG have to sell you at all, or how did this marriage happen this time?
Yeah, Rich, it's good to see you. I just think as knowing that free agency was looming, and knowing that the season of life could be coming to an end in New Orleans, it was just a lot of prayer and reflection. And once my agents let me know that the Jets were an option, it was a no-brainer. And I've been watching AG from afar, so my career has overlapped with AG in every place that I've been. When I was drafted here, he was in scouting. There was overlap in Cleveland. He was a big reason I ended up in New Orleans. And now here, I didn't even need to have a conversation with him to be all on board and to get here and see what it is that he's building and the culture and just to feel the energy in the building. Just a ton of excitement.
Mario, what is it about AG that excites you to be able to be coached by him in the way you're going to be now that he's the head coach?
I think any great leader or anyone that would talk to you about being a part of a great organization would tell you that it's about the people. And I think great leaders are people who can either bring in the right people, curate the right people environment, or build the right people. And I think he does it all. And as you walk through the building, you can feel his leadership before you even have a conversation with him. And I think that was just always a natural connection, knowing that he understood the game, he played the game, But also he knew how to connect and inspire. And I always saw that about him. I got a chance to follow all the great things that he did in Detroit and seeing how he turned that organization around. And so I think who he is goes before him. But I think what people don't know is when you walk into this building, you can feel who he is. And the way that people talk about him, and I just think it just comes from who he is, and I believe in what he's building because he's building it with the right people. You look at some of the people that have been brought in, that just shows that he feels a certain way about those individuals, but those individuals feel the same way about him. And I'm just really excited to be a part of all that's being done.
Demario,
When you talk about the people he brought in, you look at the defense they're building. What do you think of the guys you're going to be playing with? What do you think of the defense Aaron's building?
I'm excited about the guys that are being brought in, but I'm also excited to work with some of the guys that have been here. There are a lot of guys that have done some really good things inside this organization already. So being able to be with them, and then some of the reinforcements that are being brought in. Big fan of Nation Wright, and I got a chance to play with his younger brother, and so I really got a chance to watch him from afar and all the big plays that he was making. Minka Fitzpatrick, has been one of the top safeties in the league for a long time. Played with Big O, and so seeing him and Sweat and Kingsley and Joe coming from Cincy, man. I mean, you look at, as a linebacker, you get excited playing with a defensive line like that, and so I just think these guys have done so much already, and all of us getting a chance to play together. That's going to be our responsibility to put the work in and come together, and that's not always easy, but I think it's a lot of guys that's up to the task.
Mario, you play one of the most physically demanding positions in football, and you're 37 years old. How have you been able to last this long in the league? And where are you now? How fresh do you feel, and how much gas left in the tank?
Thank you for that question. I think that's kind of what I build my career on now is, how's this guy 37 and still looking like he's 27, 28. And for me, my faith always goes out in front. So I wouldn't be in this position without a whole lot of covering and blessing from the man above. I think it's almost like Daniel in Babylon. If you just look at that story, his body was doing something very different than the people around him, just because of things that he was doing and covering from the man above. I think I have a phenomenal team that's working on me year-round. It's almost like a car. Once it comes off the track, it's always in the garage getting worked on. And that has helped exponentially. I think because of the game is much different than, before I came in. The game that they played was a lot more hard knocks and gritty and contact, and our game is a lot more speed and agility. So the game is played outside the hashes in space a lot more. I think the science, just in terms of recovery, plays a major part. And I try to maximize on all types of technology that's out there. And so I think all of that lends itself to longer careers. And I don't think that I'm the exception. I think I'm the new norm to players who take care of their body, maximize the game and all that's around it, and are able to stay, relatively healthy. They're going to have careers very similar to mine.
We'll take a couple more here.
Mari, you've been part of changing cultures before, and that's what AG is trying to do here. What do you think the key to that is, and how can you help that effort?
I think we just have to keep doing what he's preaching. I think he's preaching all the right messages, and it sounds like there's a locker room of guys who are bought into what he's coaching, and we're just being brought in to help reinforce that. If anything, use our voice to turn up the volume, because at the end of the day, ships turn because ships go into daylight because you hold on and hold steady through the storm. And that's all we need to do. He has the vision, he has the mission, and all we got to do is hold this thing steady, and we're going to come out the other side, and I think it's going to shock the world.
So Mario, you were teammates with Geno in his first stint with the Jets too. I'm curious what it's been like seeing him, Geno Smith, go on the journey he's been on, and now he's back with the Jets at the same time as you.
Man, what an incredible journey, and what an incredible story in its own right. Not just the fact that we're getting a chance to be reunited here, but I've just been amazed at watching his journey and his maturity grow inside of this game, and the leader that he is and the quarterback that he is, and being able to lead multiple teams to the playoffs and make some really big plays and big throws, and all the success, and just being able to navigate the highs and lows and keep showing up. It just says a lot about his character, says a lot about who he is, and a big reason in why the organization believes in him the way that they do, and have brought him back and worked to bring him back. And I know there's nobody that's going to come in and work harder for this organization than him, and I'm just really excited to be a part of it.
Thank you, Demario.
All right, thank you guys. Y'all be blessed.